The legal document slipped from between the pages of my old college textbook like a ghost from another life. I'd been packing up my studio apartment, again, when I found it wedged in Constitutional Law, Principles and Policies, a book I'd never gotten to finish reading because I'd dropped out to work double shifts at the diner. My name is Iris, and I'm 31 years old. 5 years ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I believed my family actually loved me. "Iris, honey, you're so good with money," Mom had said, her voice dripping with that fake sweetness she reserved for asking favors. "Serena got into law school. Can you believe it? Our baby is going to be a lawyer." I should have seen the trap coming. Should have noticed how Dad suddenly started calling me practical and reliable instead of just ignoring me completely. Should have questioned why they were all so interested in my savings account for the first time in my life. But I didn't. I was 26 and desperate for their approval. "Of course I'll help," I'd said, like an idiot. "Family comes first." The document in my hands was titled Gift of Education Agreement, all official looking with legal letterhead and everything. I remembered signing it, remembered thinking I was being so smart, so careful. Xavier, the lawyer I'd hired, had explained every clause. "This protects you," he'd said. "If she doesn't acknowledge your contribution publicly within 30 days of graduation, the gift converts to a loan, full amount plus interest." I'd laughed then. She's my sister. Of course she'll thank me. God, I was naive. My phone buzzed. A text from Serena. "Graduation party is Saturday. Black tie. Try to look presentable for once. Don't embarrass us." I stared at the message, then at the legal document, then back at the message. 5 years of working 60-hour weeks. 5 years of eating ramen while she posted Instagram stories from fancy restaurants. 5 years of watching her spend my money on designer clothes while I wore the same 3 outfits to work. The invitation to her graduation party was still stuck to my refrigerator. Thick cardstock with gold embossing that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. "Celebrating Serena's achievement," it read. Not our achievement, not the family's achievement, just hers. I pulled out my phone and called Delilah, my best friend since high school and the only person who'd consistently told me I was being used. "Please tell me you're not going to that party," she said instead of hello. "I have to go. She's my sister. She's a parasite. There's a difference." I walked to my kitchen window and looked out at the parking lot where my beat-up Honda used to sit before I sold it to pay for Serena's textbooks. Now I took the bus everywhere, while she drove the BMW Dad bought her for doing so well in school. "Remember last Christmas," Delilah continued, "when your mom introduced Serena to her book club as our pride and joy, and you as our dependable one, like you're a kitchen appliance?" I did remember. I'd been standing right there, holding the tray of cookies I'd baked for the party, and Mom had patted my shoulder like I was a golden retriever. "She's graduating law school because of me," I said quietly. "And has she thanked you? Ever? Even once?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. In 5 years, Serena had never acknowledged my sacrifice. Not when I gave up my apartment to move somewhere cheaper. Not when I sold my car. Not when I took a second job cleaning offices at night. She just kept taking, kept expecting, kept treating my money like it was her birthright. "The agreement," I whispered, looking at the document again. "What agreement?" "I made her sign something before I paid the first tuition bill. It says if she doesn't publicly acknowledge my contribution within 30 days of graduation, the money becomes a loan." Delilah was quiet for a long moment. "Iris, please tell me you're not thinking what I think you're thinking." I read the clause again, clear as day, legally binding, witnessed and notarized. She'll thank me at the party, I said. She has to. But even as I said it, I knew she wouldn't. Serena had never thanked me for anything in her entire life. Why would she start now? The legal document felt heavier in my hands, like it was made of lead instead of paper. Outside my window, a BMW, just like Serena's, pulled into the parking lot. Saturday couldn't come fast enough. The memory hit me like a slap as I stared at the agreement. 3 years ago, sitting in Xavier's cramped office above the pizza place on 5th Street. "You sure about this?" Xavier had asked, adjusting his glasses. "Family contracts get messy." "She's my sister. She'll understand I'm just protecting myself." Famous last words. I'd driven straight to Serena's apartment after leaving the lawyer's office. She was sprawled on her couch, the one I'd helped her buy, painting her nails some ridiculous shade of pink. "What's this?" she'd asked, barely glancing at the papers. "Just a formality, for the tuition money. Sign here." She'd rolled her eyes. "Iris, you're so paranoid. It's a gift, remember? From your loving sister to mine." "Just sign it, Serena." She'd scrawled her signature without reading a single line. "There. Happy now? Can you Venmo me that money for books? I'm meeting Robbie for dinner and I need a new dress." I should have known then. Should have seen how carelessly she treated everything I gave her. Now, sitting at my desk at the insurance office where I'd worked for the past 3 years, I pulled out my phone and called Delilah. "You're obsessing over that contract again, aren't you?" she said. "It's airtight, right? You read it?" "Honey, I'm a paralegal, not a lawyer. But yes, it looks solid. The question is whether you can actually go through with it." I glanced around the office. My coworkers were busy with their own calls, but I lowered my voice anyway. She texted me again this morning, told me to wear something appropriate to the party, like I'm some embarrassing relative she has to tolerate. Which is exactly how she sees you. I paid for everything, Delilah. Everything. Her tuition, her books, her rent for the first 2 years. I even paid for her bar exam prep course. I know. She's never said thank you. Not once. I know that too. My computer pinged with an email. Another insurance claim to process. Another day of mind-numbing work while my sister prepared to start her career at one of the city's most prestigious law firms. "What if I'm wrong?" I asked. "What if she surprises me at the party?" Delilah laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "When has Serena ever surprised you with kindness?" I thought about it, really thought about it. The answer was never. "I have to go," I said. "My boss is coming." But as I hung up, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The contract had slipped partially out of my purse, and Janet from accounting was staring at it with obvious curiosity. "Legal documents?" she asked, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I shoved the papers back into my bag. Just some old paperwork. "Looked official. Everything okay?" "Fine. Everything's fine." But Janet kept watching me for the rest of the day, and I couldn't shake the feeling that she'd seen more than she was letting on. That evening, my phone rang. Serena. "Iris, I'm so excited for Saturday. Mom got her hair done specially, and Dad bought a new suit. We're all going to look so good in the photos." "Great. Oh, and I have amazing news. Robbie's parents are coming to the party. His dad is a partner at Morrison & Associates. Can you believe it? I'm going to be rubbing shoulders with real power players." "Congratulations." "You sound weird. Are you okay?" I stared at the agreement spread out on my kitchen table. "I'm fine. Just tired." "Well, get some rest, and remember what I said about dressing appropriately. This is important for my career. Your career that I paid for." The words slipped out before I could stop them. Silence on the other end. Then, "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Forget it." "No, what did you mean by that? You make it sound like I owe you something." My heart pounded. "Don't you?" Iris, you gave me that money as a gift. A gift. You can't hold it over my head forever. I'm not holding anything over your head. Good, because that would be really pathetic. I mean, it's not like you were using the money for anything important anyway. You don't have any real ambitions. The line went dead. I sat there holding my phone, staring at the contract. 30 days after graduation. That was the deadline. Saturday was graduation day. The countdown had officially begun. The ballroom at the Grandview Hotel looked like something out of a magazine. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, and a champagne fountain that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I stood near the entrance in my one decent black dress, watching my family work the room like they owned it. Iris! Mom rushed over, her smile bright and fake. You made it! You look... nice. The pause before nice said everything. Where's Serena? Oh, she's holding court by the champagne fountain. Everyone wants to congratulate her. The Hendersons are here, and the Blackwells, and oh, Judge Morrison came with his son, Robbie. Can you believe it? I could see Serena across the room, radiant in a designer dress that cost more than I made in a month. She was laughing at something Robbie said, her hand on his arm, playing the perfect future lawyer's wife. She looks happy, I said. She deserves this moment. All those years of hard work finally paying off. All those years. Right. Dad appeared beside us, straightening his new tie. Iris, good to see you. Hi, Dad. Serena's been telling everyone about her job offer. Starting salary is more than I made my first 10 years as an engineer. That's great. Course, she's always been the ambitious one. Takes after her mother. He glanced at me. You've got your own strengths, though. Very practical. There was that word again. Practical. Like I was a piece of furniture. I'm going to get some air, I said. Don't wander off too far, Mom called after me. We're doing family photos in an hour. I made it to the hotel's garden before my phone buzzed. A text from Valila. How's the circus? I typed back. Exactly what you'd expect. Are you sure you can go through with it? I stared at the message. Through the glass doors, I could see Serena surrounded by admirers, basking in praise for achievements she never could have reached without me. Iris? I turned. Robbie was walking toward me, champagne glass in hand. Hey, Robbie. Congratulations on the engagement. Thanks. Beautiful party, isn't it? Your parents really went all out. They did. He joined me at the garden railing. Serena's been telling me about how supportive you've been through law school. Really generous of you to help out. My heart skipped. She said that? Well, not in so many words, but I can tell she appreciates having such a, what did she call it? A reliable sister. Reliable. Not generous, not sacrificing. Reliable. What exactly did she say about me? Robbie shifted uncomfortably. Oh, you know, just that you're very grounded, practical. She said you've always been happy with simple things. Simple things. Yeah, like how you don't need much to be content. She admires that about you, says she could never live such a modest lifestyle. The words hit like physical blows. She said that? I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. I just think it's nice how different you two are. She's got these big dreams, and you're more down to earth. I wanted to scream. Wanted to tell him that I'd had dreams too, before I gave them up to pay for his fiancé's big dreams. Instead, I smiled. That's very sweet of her to say. She's lucky to have you. Not everyone would be so understanding about, well, you know. About what? About how things worked out, with her getting all the opportunities and you being, well, you. Before I could respond, Serena appeared in the doorway. There you are, she called to Robbie. Judge Morrison wants to meet you. And Iris, Mom's looking for you. Something about photos. As Robbie headed inside, Serena lingered. What were you two talking about? Just congratulating him on the engagement. Good. I hope you weren't being weird. This is important, Iris. These people are my future colleagues. I understand. Do you? Because sometimes I worry you don't get how big this is for me, for our family. We're finally going to be somebody. We? Well, I am, and that reflects well on everyone. She headed back inside, leaving me alone in the garden. I pulled out my phone and took a photo of the party invitation I'd kept in my purse. Evidence of this moment, this conversation. Then I walked back into the ballroom where my sister was about to give her graduation speech, the speech that would determine everything. The champagne glass clinked against the microphone as Serena tapped it for attention. The ballroom fell silent, all eyes on my sister as she stood radiant under the chandelier. Thank you all for being here tonight, she began, her voice carrying that confident tone she'd perfected in law school. This moment means everything to me. I stood at the back of the room, my hands clenched at my sides. When I started this journey 5 years ago, I wasn't sure I could do it. Law school is brutal. The competition is fierce. But I had something that kept me going, the unwavering support of my family. My breath caught. This was it. This was where she'd mentioned me. My parents, Victoria and Walter, gave me the freedom to pursue my dreams. They never once made me worry about money or practical concerns. They told me to focus on my studies and they'd handle everything else. Wait, what? Dad always said, Serena, you're destined for greatness. Don't let anything hold you back. And Mom... Serena's voice cracked with emotion. Mom sacrificed so much to make sure I had every opportunity. She worked extra hours, saved every penny, all so I could have this moment. The room erupted in applause. I felt like I was drowning. I also want to thank my amazing fiancé, Robbie, who believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. And of course, my sister Iris, who, here it comes, I thought, finally, who reminds me every day how lucky I am to escape a life of mediocrity. Iris, you've shown me what happens when someone settles for less, and that's been incredibly motivating. Laughter rippled through the crowd, actual laughter, at my expense. Seriously though, Iris has always been content with her simple life, and I admire that about her. Not everyone can dream big, and that's okay. Someone has to be practical, right? Louder this time. So here's to freedom, here's to success, and here's to never settling for a life that's less than extraordinary. The crowd cheered, glasses clinked, people rushed to congratulate her. I stood frozen, watching my sister bask in praise for achievements I'd made possible, while she painted me as a cautionary tale. Excuse me, I mumbled, pushing through the crowd toward the bathroom. I locked myself in a stall and pulled out my phone with shaking hands. The contract was still in my purse. I photographed the program from the party, evidence of the date and event. Then I texted Xavier, activate clause, effective immediately. Iris? A voice called from outside the stall. Honey, are you okay? I recognized the voice, Mrs. Henderson, one of Mom's book club friends. I'm fine, I managed. That was quite a speech, wasn't it? Your sister is so accomplished. Yes, she is. You know, I was just talking to your mother about you. She said you're such a cautionary tale. How someone can just give up on their dreams and settle for an ordinary life. It's actually quite sad. My hands stopped shaking. Something cold and sharp settled in my chest. She said that? Oh yes, she was telling the Blackwells how grateful she is that Serena didn't turn out like you. No offense, dear. I'm sure you're perfectly happy with your situation. I opened the stall door. Mrs. Henderson was touching up her lipstick in the mirror. What exactly did my mother say about my situation? Well, you know, how you never really amounted to much. How you're still single at 31, working that little job at the insurance office. She said it's a good reminder for Serena of what happens when you don't apply yourself. I see. But don't feel bad, dear. Not everyone can be exceptional. The world needs ordinary people too. She patted my shoulder and left. I stared at myself in the mirror. My phone buzzed. Xavier, are you certain? This will have immediate consequences. I typed back, I'm certain. Xavier, consider it done. The debt conversion is effective as of tonight. She'll receive official notice within 48 hours. I took a screenshot of our conversation and slipped my phone back into my purse. When I returned to the ballroom, Serena was posing for photos with Judge Morrison and his wife. She caught my eye and waved me over. Iris, come meet the Morrisons. They're practically family now. I walked over, my smile perfectly composed. Congratulations, Serena. You've earned every bit of this success. Thank you. Isn't this amazing? I can't believe how perfect everything is. It really is perfect, I agreed. Absolutely perfect. She had no idea that in 48 hours, her perfect world would come crashing down. And for the first time in 5 years, that thought made me smile. The call came at 7:23 a.m. on Tuesday morning. I was getting ready for work when my phone exploded with Serena's ringtone. What the hell did you do? I held the phone away from my ear. Good morning to you too. Don't you dare play innocent with me. I just got a letter from some debt collection agency saying I owe $127,000 in student loans. This has to be a mistake. Is it? Of course it's a mistake. I don't have any student loans. You paid for everything, remember? As a gift. I sat down on my bed, surprisingly calm. Did you read the letter carefully? I don't need to read it carefully. It's obviously some kind of scam or identity theft or... Serena, read the letter. Silence. Then the sound of paper rustling. Gift of education, she read slowly. Conversion clause activated due to failure to acknowledge benefactor contribution within specified time frame. Her voice trailed off. Iris, what is this? It's exactly what it says. You can't be serious. This is some kind of joke, right? Some sick joke because you're jealous of my success? I'm not joking. But you can't just change a gift into a loan. That's not how gifts work. Actually, it is how contracts work. You signed it, Serena. You agreed to the terms. I didn't read it. You said it was just a formality. That's not my problem. The line went quiet, except for her breathing. Then, you're my sister. Yes, I am. Sisters don't do this to each other. You're right. They don't humiliate each other at graduation parties either. What are you talking about? Your speech, Serena. The one where you called me a cautionary tale? The one where you thanked everyone except the person who actually paid for your education. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? Another long pause. Look, I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt, but this is insane. You can't destroy my life over a stupid speech. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just collecting on a debt. Iris, please. I'm supposed to start at Morrison and Associates next month. If they find out about this, they already know. What? Student loan defaults show up on background checks, especially ones this large. I heard her start to cry. They put me on administrative leave pending review. They said they need to verify my financial stability before I can start. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate? Iris, this is my career, my entire future. You should have thought about that before you signed the contract. I'm calling Mom and Dad. They'll make you stop this. Go ahead. She hung up. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. Dad this time. Iris, what the hell is going on? Serena is hysterical. She received a debt collection notice for money she owes me. Money she owes you? That was a gift. You said it was a gift. I said it was a gift contingent on certain conditions. She didn't meet those conditions. This is ridiculous. You can't just... Dad, I can, and I did. It's all legal and binding. Legal and binding? Jesus Christ, Iris, she's your sister. Exactly. She's my sister, and she threw me under the bus in front of a room full of people. So you're going to ruin her life over hurt feelings? I'm not ruining anything. I'm asking to be repaid for money I lent her. You didn't lend it, you gave it. Read the contract, Dad. She signed it. The line went quiet. Then Mom's voice in the background. Let me talk to her. Iris. Mom's voice was ice cold. This stops now. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. You will call off this ridiculous debt collection nonsense, and you will apologize to your sister for this cruel joke. It's not a joke, Mom. Of course it's a joke. You're not the type of person who would actually do something like this. You're too nice. Maybe I'm tired of being nice. Don't be ridiculous. You're just upset because you're not getting enough attention. Well, congratulations. You have our attention now. Are you happy? Actually, yes, I am. This is pathetic, Iris, even for you. You know what's pathetic? Calling your own daughter a cautionary tale. Telling people I'm a reminder of what happens when someone doesn't apply themselves. Silence. Mrs. Henderson told me what you said at the party, Mom. Every word. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You all did. And now you're dealing with the consequences. Iris, please. I hung up. My phone immediately started buzzing with texts. Serena, Mom, Dad, even some cousins I hadn't heard from in years. I turned it off and went to work. For the first time in 5 years, I felt free. They showed up at my apartment Thursday night, all of them, Mom, Dad, and Serena, who looked like she hadn't slept in days. We need to talk, Dad said when I opened the door. There's nothing to talk about. Iris, please. Mom pushed past me into my tiny living room. Look at this place. You're living like a college student. Don't you want better for yourself? I'm fine. You're not fine, Serena said, her voice hoarse. And neither am I. Morrison and Associates officially rescinded my job offer today. I felt a flicker of something, guilt, satisfaction, but kept my face neutral. I'm sorry to hear that. No, you're not. She collapsed onto my couch. You're happy about it. Serena, don't lie to me. You've always been jealous of me, always resented that I got the opportunities you didn't. I gave you those opportunities. You gave me money. That's all you did. You didn't earn my grades. You didn't take my exams. You didn't write my papers. You're right. I just worked 60 hours a week to pay for your chance to do all of that. Dad stepped between us. Enough, both of you. Iris, this has gone too far. Serena made a mistake at the party, but destroying her career isn't the answer. I'm not destroying anything. I'm collecting on a debt. It's not a debt. Mom's voice cracked. It was a gift between sisters. Was it a gift when she called me a cautionary tale? Was it a gift when you told your friends I was a reminder of what happens when someone doesn't apply themselves? Mom's face went white. You weren't supposed to hear that. But I did. And now I know exactly what you all think of me. We don't think. Yes, you do. You think I'm pathetic. You think I'm a failure. You think I'm someone who settled for less because I wasn't smart enough or ambitious enough to want more. That's not true, Dad said, but his voice lacked conviction. Isn't it? When's the last time any of you asked about my dreams, my goals, my life? Silence. You want to know something funny? I had a full scholarship to State. Did you know that? I was going to study journalism. I wanted to be a reporter. You never told us that, Mom whispered. I tried to, but you were too busy talking about Serena's acceptance to law school, too busy planning her future to care about mine. So you gave up your scholarship out of spite? Serena asked. I gave up my scholarship to pay for your education because I thought family was more important than my own dreams. And now you're punishing me for that choice? I'm not punishing you. I'm asking you to take responsibility for your choices. Serena stood up, her hands shaking. Fine. You want responsibility? Here it is. I thought you enjoyed being useful. I thought you liked being needed. I thought that was enough for you because you never seemed to want anything else. Because you never asked what I wanted. I was 20 years old. I was selfish and stupid and focused on my own life, but I never asked you to sacrifice everything for me. You didn't have to ask. You just expected it. And you let me. You never said no. You never set boundaries. You never told me to figure it out myself. So this is my fault? Yes. No. I don't know. She started crying. I don't know how to fix this, Iris. I don't know how to make it right. You could start by acknowledging what I did for you. I acknowledge it. I'm acknowledging it right now. Too late. The contract specified 30 days after graduation. You had your chance. At the party? You wanted me to thank you at the party? I wanted you to remember that I existed, that I mattered, that I was more than just your reliable sister who pays the bills. Mom stepped forward. Iris, honey, we know you matter. We've always known that. No, you haven't. You've known I was useful. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. A text from Delilah. Everything okay? Saw your family's cars outside. I showed the message. My friend is checking on me. You know why? Because she actually cares about my well-being. She doesn't just call when she needs something. That's not fair, Dad said. When's the last time any of you called just to see how I was doing? Not to ask for money or favors or help with something. Just to talk. They looked at each other, then at the floor. That's what I thought. So what now? Serena asked. You're really going to make me pay back $127,000? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have that kind of money. Then you'll have to get a job and make payments, like everyone else with student loans. This will ruin me. No, it won't. It'll teach you the value of money, and maybe, eventually, the value of family. They left without another word. I locked the door behind them and called Delilah. How do you feel? Terrible and free at the same time. That sounds about right. The headline appeared on my phone while I was eating lunch at my desk. Law graduate secret debt scandal rocks local elite. My sandwich turned to cardboard in my mouth. Holy shit, Janet from accounting said, reading over my shoulder. Isn't that your sister? The article had everything. Photos from the graduation party, quotes from anonymous sources about the family drama, even a copy of the contract, with names redacted but details intact. My phone started ringing immediately. Unknown number. Iris, this is Rebecca Martinez from Channel 7 News. We'd like to interview you about the story that broke today regarding your sister's student loan situation. I hung up. It rang again. Different number. Ms. Dean, this is Tom Walsh from the City Tribune. We're running a follow-up story and would love to get your side of... I hung up again. Iris? My boss, Mr. Peterson, appeared at my desk. Can I see you in my office? I followed him, my legs feeling like jelly. Sit down. He closed the door. I just got off the phone with a reporter asking about one of my employees. Apparently, there's some family situation that's made the news. I can explain. I don't need you to explain. I need you to tell me if this is going to affect your work or bring unwanted attention to this office. I don't know. That's not the answer I was hoping for. My phone buzzed. A text from Delilah. We need to talk. Now. Can I take the rest of the day off? I asked. That's probably a good idea. I met Delilah at the coffee shop near her office. She was already there, looking guilty as hell. You leaked it, I said, sliding into the booth across from her. Yes. Why? Because you were going to get blamed anyway. At least this way, people know the whole story. Delilah, your family was already painting you as the villain. I heard your mom at the grocery store yesterday telling Mrs. Patterson that you were having some kind of breakdown and trying to extort money from Serena. She said that? Word for word. So I called my friend at the Tribune, gave him the real story. With my name attached to it? With the truth attached to it. My phone rang. Mom. Iris, what did you do? The story is everywhere. Everyone is calling us. I didn't do anything. Don't lie to me. This has your fingerprints all over it. Actually, it doesn't. I didn't talk to any reporters. Then how did they get all those details? How did they get a copy of that ridiculous contract? I don't know. This is destroying our family. Your father can't show his face at the country club. I had to cancel book club. And Serena? What about Serena? She's devastated, completely devastated. Robbie broke up with her this morning. I felt a stab of something. Guilt? Regret? Why? Because he said he couldn't be with someone who treated family the way she treated you. Can you believe that? He's taking your side. Maybe because I'm right. You're not right. You're vindictive and cruel and... I hung up. Delilah reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You okay? Robbie broke up with her. Good. He seems like the only decent one in that family. This is getting out of hand. No, it's not. It's getting real. For the first time in your life, people are seeing what really happened. My phone buzzed with a notification. Someone had tagged me on TikTok. What's this? I showed Delilah the screen. Oh, you might want to see this. I opened the app. A video with over 100,000 views. The caption read, Sister pays for law school, gets humiliated at graduation party, drops the legal hammer. Thoughts? The comments were brutal. Half the people were calling me a hero. The other half were calling me a monster. I need to respond to this, I said. Are you sure? People are making up their own version of the story. I might as well tell them what really happened. I spent the next hour recording a video in my apartment. Just me, sitting on my couch, telling the truth. About the 5 years of sacrifice. About the graduation party. About the contract. About my family's reaction. I posted it at 6 p.m. By 8 p.m., it had 1 million views. By 10 p.m., I had interview requests from 3 major networks. By midnight, #SisterDebt was trending on Twitter. I turned off my phone and went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. Outside my window, I could see a news van parked across the street. My quiet life was officially over. But for the first time in years, I felt like people were actually listening to me, even if I wasn't sure I was ready for what came next. The check arrived on a Tuesday morning 3 weeks after the story went viral. $2,847.63, Serena's first payment. I stared at it for a long time before depositing it on my phone. The memo line read, Payment 1 of 84. 7 years of payments. She'd done the math. My apartment felt different now. Reporters had stopped calling, the news vans were gone. But something fundamental had shifted. I wasn't invisible anymore. Iris? A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. I opened it to find Robbie standing in the hallway, looking nervous. Hi, he said. Can we talk? Sure, come in. He sat on my couch, the same spot where my family had ambushed me weeks ago. I wanted to apologize. For what? For not seeing it sooner. For being part of the problem. He ran his hands through his hair. Serena told me things about you that I just accepted. I never questioned them. What kind of things? that you were happy being ordinary, that you didn't have ambitions, that you were content just existing. He looked up at me. I should have known better. Nobody's content with that. She believed it too. Maybe that made it easier. She's working at a legal aid clinic now, making $35,000 a year. That's honest work. It is. And she's different. Humbled, I guess. She asked me to give you this. He handed me an envelope. My name was written on it in Serena's handwriting. She couldn't bring herself to come here, Robbie said, but she wanted you to know she's trying to understand what she did wrong. I opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Iris, I've been thinking about what you said, about how I never asked what you wanted. So I'm asking now, what do you want? Not what you think I want to hear or what will make this easier. What do you? I folded the letter and looked at Robbie. What about you? What do you want? Honestly, I want to get to know the real you, not the version your family created. The real me is pretty boring. I doubt that. The real you just took on your entire family and won. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Hi, Iris. This is Marcus from the Tribune. I know you're not doing interviews, but I have a proposition. We're starting a weekly column about people who stand up for themselves. Interested in writing it? Good pay, flexible schedule. Let me know. I showed Robbie the message. That's amazing, he said. Are you going to do it? I don't know. I've never been a writer. You told your story pretty well on TikTok. 12 million views and counting. You watched it? Everyone watched it. You were honest, raw, real. That's rare. I looked at the text again, then at Serena's letter, then at the deposit confirmation on my phone. Can I ask you something? I said to Robbie. Anything. Do you think I'm a bad person for what I did to her? He was quiet for a moment. I think you're a person who got tired of being taken for granted, and I think your family needed to learn that actions have consequences. Even if those consequences hurt people, especially then. Serena hurt you for 5 years. Your parents hurt you for probably longer. Nobody seemed to care about those consequences. My phone rang. Delilah. Turn on channel 7, she said without preamble. Why? Just do it. I grabbed the remote. The evening news was on. A story about student debt forgiveness programs. In related news, the anchor said, the viral story of Iris Dean and her sister's student loan debt has sparked a national conversation about family financial obligations and the hidden costs of higher education. Dean's story has resonated with thousands of people who say they've made similar sacrifices for family members without recognition or gratitude. They showed clips from my TikTok video, then cut to interviews with other people sharing their own stories. I paid for my brother's medical school, one woman said. He's never even thanked me. My parents expect me to support them financially, but they still treat me like I'm worthless, said another. The hashtag #sisterdebt has become a rallying cry for people who feel taken advantage of by their families, the anchor continued. Dean herself has remained largely silent since her initial video, but sources say she's considering several media opportunities. I muted the TV and looked at Robbie. This is insane. This is justice, he said. You gave other people permission to tell their stories. I picked up my phone and started typing a response to Marcus at the Tribune. Yes, I'm interested. When do we start? The response came back immediately. How about Monday? Welcome to the team. I set the phone down and smiled. For the first time in years, I had something to look forward to that was entirely my own. So, Robbie said, what do you want, Iris? I thought about Serena's letter, about the question she'd finally asked. I want to write, I said. I want to tell stories. I want to matter. You already matter. I know, I said. Finally, I know.